This is a podcast for spiritual downloads, star seeds, light workers, and authenticity. Spiritual awareness is advised. Welcome to the 1111 Synchronized Podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Let's all join together with a deep breath in and a deep breath out. I think we can do one more. Deep breath in and a deep breath out. Let's just slow it down. There's a lot happening right now. Maybe you're feeling the vibes. We have a powerful full moon eclipse coming up. Mars is retrograde for any of those people who understand that everything is everything. And the astrological planets affect everything and affect us beings who live here. And the orbit and the motion of all of these things have a big impact. So maybe you're not as aware that these things are happening, or maybe you're becoming more aware of how all these things impact us. So right now it could be a lot of shadow energy, a lot of shadow work for us individually and collectively. So just have ease and grace for everyone, because we're all walking each other home on this journey called life, this school of life, and everyone's on their own path. So just know everyone is doing the best they can. Just have patience, have understanding, have compassion for yourself and for others. And if you haven't already, please submit any topic requests you may have. You can hit me up on Instagram at Agent K21 Podcast. Let me know what you want to hear. Let me know if you want to be a feature, if you want to collaborate in some way, shape, or form. I'm always open to that. If you haven't already gotten your Christmas time EP, please get that. It is on iTunes, it's on Spotify, it's on YouTube, it's on all the streaming services. That is the Christmas time EP by the artist known as Mary J. Wanna. Please go get that, check that out. If you'd like to leave a donation, please click the Linktree link in my description. You can leave donations if you like, or write a review, or share these. Any of those things help this channel grow, and I'm so appreciative and so grateful for all the beautiful listeners out there and for how this has really expanded over the years. So if you want to give back in any of those ways, feel free. Honestly, I just enjoy the fact that you're even here listening, integrating, doing all the things you're doing on your own journey. I'm so appreciative of that, and you have my undivided support. And I also do provide dream interpretations. I don't think I mentioned that last time, but I've mentioned it before. So if you're new, if you're just catching this on a random day and you had a crazy dream, I do provide dream interpretations. And the way that process works is you just reach out, let me know that you want your dream to be interpreted. I will send you an email confirmation that I received your message, and I'll also send a document, a PDF, basically just saying, you're going to recall your dream and maybe give me some information about you so I can have a better understanding of what subconscious things may be happening. So if that's something that you're interested in, I do provide dream interpretations. It's not really me providing it. It's truly spirit providing it through me. And so if that's something that you've had reoccurring dreams, or you just are just having really interesting dreams as the veil is very thin right now, that is definitely another service that I provide and can help you out with if you're willing to do that. And I also do provide donation-based counseling along with the donation-based dream interpretation. So I do provide donation-based counseling. It is a very different setting than a traditional counseling. It's more spiritual-based. It's more intuitive-led counseling. So there are no diagnoses. There are no notes necessarily. It's just more getting an understanding of you. And I naturally don't take notes when I'm with clients because it doesn't help me engage with the person I'm engaging with. So, that's kind of something that I do just in general, but specifically more so in my full circle counseling. That is a service that I provide. So if you are wanting to receive just some guidance or just having some really tough things come up, some emotions or some situations that you just find yourself in a really tough spot, that is also available. And I know it can be nerve-wracking to reach out and receive help, but just know that we all need help on this journey. There's no shame in it. I support you 100%. That's like the most self-loving thing anyone can do, is to help themselves. And so that is also available. And going along with helping yourself, perhaps you always wanted to learn how to play an instrument, or you wanted to learn audio production, music, songwriting, any of the terms. That is also something I do provide as well. You can check out the music website link, also listed in the description. So that's something that I also do provide if you are interested in building your creativity and just tapping into your own frequency, your own OG music. Just, you can reach out, and I definitely help with that. And I'm also selling instrumental tracks. You can check that out on the Agent K21 music page, as well as the website. In addition to all of that, I'm creating this empire. You may have heard me say, or maybe you're going to hear me say now, would you like to work with me and not for me, where we build this empire together that is a holistic approach to health and wellness and souls and soul searching and dark nights of the soul, and helping people tap into their own power to help them realize that we got this and that you are your own expert. Well, I'm building an empire that's a collective of different healers. So Reiki, tarot, music therapy, acupuncturist, physical therapy, you name it, anything of the sort is what I'm building an empire of right now. So if you'd like to join the team, and if you would like to also book sessions with other team members, please click the Full Circle Counseling link and go to services. You will see a host of different services provided, including the dream interpretations I've mentioned, individual therapy, couples therapy, and group therapy, better known as family therapy as well. And you will also see our Reiki healer listed there as well. Reiki healing, cardinal energy healing. So there are different methods of healing to assist you on your journey. So if you are in a tough space, or you've been just on this path for a while and you're just like, I need something more, please, these services are here. Please book a session. And I'm basically just going to get into that. So, excuse me here. I just think that we need each other, and we're here to help, each other on this path. So, building this empire, if you want to join it, please let me know. And how are you guys out there? How are you guys feeling? It's so much going on right now, and just want to get all the announcements out of the way before I dive deep into this topic. And if you just randomly clicked on this, kudos to you. I think that's an interesting choice of episodes to pick, and I support it. We're here for it. So I'm mad respect for that. Whatever the reason is that brought you here, I'm totally honored that you're here. And I'm going to definitely talk about it in a slightly different way than may be expected just based off the title. But yes, as we understand, everything stems from ourselves. Everything comes from self. So every relationship is a reflection of the relationship we have with ourselves. So gonna dive into this topic. I did want to mention, though, because I did recognize this the other day, or sometime the days are blurred all together, but at some point I recognized that I was going through the episodes because I was looking for different episodes and I couldn't find them. And I realized I had to go all the way to the very bottom. This is on the Apple Podcast service, at least. But I had to scroll all the way to where it says available episodes. And I was able to see a host of episodes that were not displayed before. So if you are having that issue, and you're wondering why you can't binge as hardcore as you'd like to, please make sure you're seeing all the available episodes. Also, turn on the bell notification so you can know when these episodes are released and be one of the first people to hear it. Additionally, I do have a YouTube channel as well, where I have been going back to previous episodes, adding a visual effect for those who prefer that way of learning and hearing and integrating. That is also available. So please go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast channel, turn on that bell notification, all those good things. And we're going to take a quick break. Well, I'm going to take a quick break. I'm always like we. Who is we? It's me, you, and tribe, right? So we're going to take a quick break. And when I return, definitely want to kind of talk more about the topic of selfishness, what that is, how it's beneficial, how it's not beneficial. So stay tuned. I look forward to seeing you here shortly. Welcome back. Thank you for joining. Thank you for returning. So we are talking about, well, I am talking about selfishness. And I hope the echo was a little bit better. It was a little bit more imbalanced, I think, before on the previous recording. And if you haven't checked out the previous episode, please do so, because in the previous episode there was an audio recording, a intermission music that was played by the artist Miguel, a song called All. Now in the song, he made a comment that everybody is selfish and that it's selfish to want it all. But my question is, isn't that why we're here? Aren't we here to expand our souls, to have it all? Who told us that we couldn't have it all? Who told us it was selfish to want it all? So I thought, based on that mindset that we're all selfish, going off of that premise of us being selfish, what makes it beneficial, what makes it detrimental. And I think we're all pretty familiar with the detriments of selfishness, but I don't know if we are as familiar with the benefits of being selfish. Depending on what society, what culture, what beliefs we were raised with, we may condemn one and overvalue another. So first and foremost, just understanding that we are all connected through everything. We're all connected. We're more alike than we are not alike. And in this human experience, we are here as individuals, and we incarnate here as individual beings. So there is a separate self. There is a selfishness to each and every one of us. And it's understanding how that selfishness works, how it works against us and others, and how it works for us. Now, most of us are pretty used to the unhealthy versions of selfishness, the selfishness that has no regard for humanity, selfishness that has no regard for the earth or the animals or for any living being and is only concerned about self. Well, here's the catch. People who are only concerned about self and have no regard for other beings are only getting half of it, because when you are selfish, you realize that everything is connected. Everything is you. You are another me. I am another you. So therefore, I cannot do something without simultaneously hurting myself. I cannot hurt another being or another person or another creature without hurting myself. So perhaps if I adapted more of a selfish attitude, I would be less inclined to hurt others. So I'm going to break all of that down, or attempt to at least. It's a very delicate topic, and I want to encourage everyone to use their own discernment and their own understanding of this, because this is an interesting topic, because we are taught so many subliminal messages about this. Some of us are manipulated and gaslit to not be self-centered for the benefit of others. So there's so many different things that can transpire with selfishness and what it really means. I don't know if we can truly not be selfish on this side of the veil, because we are individual beings. Now, once we transition from this life to the next, we all return back to source. And we realize a lot more what we don't now. We see through a glass dimly on this side. We don't understand everything. We don't understand how our actions impact everything, how we send ripple effects. I mean, the more we heal and integrate and become more aware, we do understand that. But as part of why selfishness is not as harmful as we may have thought. So first, I want to kind of talk about the unhealthy versions of selfishness. The unhealthy versions of selfishness and what it can lead to. Unhealthy selfishness can lead to selfish and self-centered behavior that does not take others as part of themselves. A very narrow-minded, limited belief system can only see their perspective, unable to hold space for duality, unable to hold space for an and both consciousness, unable to see how two things can exist at the same time, even if they contradict, may engage in controlling behaviors, using others for self-gratification, using strategic thinking and strategic planning to find ways to benefit self only, lacks consideration for others, operates from a fear and lack mentality, can hoard resources, withdraw, can take others for granted, has more of a victim mindset and mentality, may want others to suffer with them or for them, invites other people to pity parties, will drag others down with them, can have the mindset, if I can't have you, nobody else can exhibit abusive and toxic behaviors, may use gaslighting and manipulation, places expectations and demands over others, very poor communication styles, communicates through lies, deception, lies by omission, leaves out information, or exaggerates the truth. Unhealthy selfishness may have a mindset that is more aligned to do as I say and not as I do mindset. And those things are more of what we're used to, the unhealthy selfishness that most of us have endured on this planet, people who are not taking others as a part of themselves. And the thing about selfishness, unhealthy selfishness is what I'm referring to, is that it can be very detrimental and damaging, not only to oneself, but to everyone involved. So I'm going to give a few examples of what an unhealthy, selfish person mindset behavior looks like. So an unhealthy selfishness, as most things stem from childhood, I'm going to start first with a parent who has a child for selfish reasons. This parent is not aware of the way their behavior impacts others. They have no consideration for others. They do not even care if it benefits or hurts other people. The only person they care if it benefits or hurts is themselves. And they will choose actions according to that value and to that belief. So a parent believes that the only way they can have unconditional love is by having a child. They've learned that everyone will leave them. Every relationship has failed. Every situation has, not gone the way they wanted it to. So this person has a child with the belief that this child will never leave me. This child will be my everything. And they place that demand on that child. And so when that child naturally has their own identity, that child will be rejected, shamed, abandoned, neglected, etc. Another concept is another selfish parent, or a parent operating with unhealthy selfishness, believes that if I have children, this child will take care of me when I get older. So again, this parent is not having a child for the sake of having the child and getting to know that child, but out of the selfish nature of, I don't want to be alone. I don't want to grow old and have to worry about where I'm going to be and who's going to take care of me. So I'm going to have a child instead and guilt them by saying, look at how many things I've done for you, and you need to honor thy mother and thy father by staying connected to me and doing these things. Another selfish way that a person who has a child can operate is they see this child as a resource, a status symbol. They can brag and say, I have children and you don't. They can say, I can collect benefits from the government and you can't. They can say, well, I'm a good parent because I have a child, and they use the child to validate their own existence because of their own lack of selfishness, or maybe not lack, but maybe their unhealthy connection to selfishness, their lack of healthy selfishness. So those examples of parents who have children without the ramifications of understanding themselves first and understanding their own selfishness before having their child or be having any children or adopting or however, doing anything for the wrong reasons usually results in the wrong reasons and the wrong results. And so these parents actually cause more trauma, more abuse, more neglect, more pain, more suffering. And it's kind of seen as the norm because more people kind of tend to live that way than not, so those are a few examples. Another example would be, and this is kind of the ways that society can promote being selfish as a good thing, as a valid thing to do. So another example would be let's say, for example, you have a husband and wife couple. They've been married for 25 years. And they have 4 beautiful children. And the husband and wife, they got married when they were young. They didn't really know themselves, but they did what was expected of them. They did what everyone else was doing. It was the biological clock season. It was time to get married, so they did. And they got married, had these children, have this house, have everything that one may think they would desire. However, after 25 years of marriage, the husband realizes he's actually a gay man. He's known this for a very long time, but he could never express that. And even now, he still feels he cannot express that because how selfish of him would it be to tell his wife of 25 years, honey, I'm actually gay, and this is not going to work for me. So he continues to suffer in this connection because he doesn't want to be selfish. He doesn't want to seem selfish. He doesn't want to hurt this person. He doesn't want to hurt his children. He doesn't want to break up the happy home. Society and all his friends tell him, you just got to stay, man. You got to tough it out. Like, hey, she's a good person. You don't want to screw her over. But missing the reality that he already is still screwing her over by not being honest with himself. So maybe you've heard similar stories of that. Maybe those stories are yours. And I'm not trying to step on toes, but these are stories that are more common than not. And they happen, and either way, people get hurt. Either that, in that example of the husband and wife, he's hurting himself by not living his truth. But it's more justifiable to hurt himself than to hurt the other people involved. And it's understandable. It is a sticky situation. And he can easily fall into blame. Well, I got myself here, and it's unfair to tell her after 25 years of marriage that this is not going to work. So then we hear those, we hear those storylines, we hear those values of it's better to self-sacrifice in order to not be considered selfish. So then, is there a way that healthy selfishness exists? I believe there is. Because, as I mentioned, every relationship stems from the relationship we have with ourselves. So if we are in a state of self-loathing, every relationship we have with another person festers in that energy of self-loathing. So we can get into these situations where we have like a dog in the manger complex. Giving that example of the husband and wife, that would be a classic dog in the manger complex where neither one of them has value for each other, but they kind of hoard themselves and they limit each other. So using the husband and wife example, it could be seen as selfish for him to end his connection with his wife, break up his family, to pursue the life that he is authentically more inclined to, which is being gay. And that could be really condemned by his social groups, etc., etc. But if he were to take that path, it would actually liberate them both. he would be able to live the life he came to live, and she would be able to find someone who's compatible for her as well. So when we see these situations, we may think that's so wrong, but it's a lot more nuanced than just that. And so going to the fact that every connection comes from the relationship we have with ourselves. To love someone is to take them as part of ourselves. So if we're full of self-hatred, unfortunately, everyone that we take as part of ourselves is now also infected by that self-hatred. So when we love ourselves, we can operate in healthy selfishness. What that means is being authentic, being able to take the ramifications, knowing that, yes, some people may get hurt, but what is the greater good? What is the greater cause? What is the purpose of this? So I'm going to list now some healthy versions of selfishness. Healthy selfishness is one that promotes healthy boundaries. One that says, this is where I begin, this is where you end. One that says, I love myself, therefore I'm not going to operate in people-pleasing behaviors, which builds trust, operates from an abundance mindset, regulates self-emotions, fills their own cup first. As they say, put on the airplanes, they say put on your own mask before assisting others, because it is understood that we are better when we are loving ourselves and we are not operating from a depletion of self-love and self-worth. We cannot give what we do not have. There is a Maya Angelou quote that says something along the lines of, she's skeptical if someone who is without a shirt offers her a shirt. Basically to say, if you're seeing someone who doesn't love themselves, how can they possibly offer you love? So healthy selfishness is putting yourself first and equal to others. So therefore you understand that if you hurt another person, you're hurting yourself. And if you hurt yourself, you are hurting others as well. It validates self-worth and it validates others. It takes their own advice. So people who have a healthy selfishness take their own advice. They honor their own word. They lead by example. They hold themselves accountable. They have a do as I say and as I do mindset. They have self-respect and respect for others. They walk the walk and talk the talk. They have found safety within themselves, and naturally others feel safe within them and around them. They operate with a level of integrity, meaning they do what is best to them at all times, regardless of who's watching them or who is not watching them. They live by their own high standards without demanding or expecting it from others. So going back to some of those examples of a parent, let me see, healthy selfishness of a parent would be, well, actually, I can't think of one right now. That's terrible. I cannot think of any parent I've seen operate with healthy selfishness. But I'm intending to be one of those one day. But I can't think of one right now. But going with the example of just family conditioning, let's say that. So say, for example, you have a person who grew up in a household where the expectation was, we're all doctors. That's what we do. Your father was a doctor. His father was a doctor. You're damn sure going to be a doctor. That's what we do. And, this person attempts the path of, I have to be a doctor because that's the tradition. That's the household rule. I must be a doctor. So this person attempts to follow that tradition, follows the household rule of being a doctor. Lo and behold, they do not want to be a doctor. They want to be a comedian instead. And they know that they're going to be considered selfish to go their own path. And maybe they'll receive rejection. Maybe they'll be criticized. Maybe they'll lose inheritance. Maybe they'll lose friends and connection and support and safety. But instead of them going against themselves to do what is expected, they do a very brave thing and they choose to honor themselves and they choose the path of becoming a comedian instead. So they become a comedian and they're living their best life. So that's one example of healthy selfishness and how it can manifest in a positive way. Like, was there a perceived threat that the family may have experienced? Sure. But was anybody truly hurt? Their expectations may have been hurt. Their ego may have been deflated. Their status may have changed. Their income perhaps may have changed for what they expected from this child. But nobody died, as they say. You didn't die though. So I don't know. But my point is, in that scenario, that person chose a path that was beneficial to them, even if it caused perceived hurt by others. So going back to the mindset, or to the example of the husband and wife situation, where they've been married for 25 years and the reality is just now coming out. This is not suited for either of them. Yes, it may be tough to disconnect that situation, and it's definitely going to be considered selfish because that husband did not know himself well enough, or wasn't honest in the beginning, and there are many mistakes made when we are not taught how to have healthy selfishness, because we are taught this is so selfish, and we struggle with guilt, and we struggle with shame, and we struggle with what we're supposed to do and how we ought to live, and all of these limiting things that we have, and all of these things we place upon ourselves, essentially, for belonging, for security, for whatever reason. It's very threatening to take that stance. But if we're taught at a young age, if parents would have that level of healthy selfishness to teach their children how to be selfish, how to take themselves in, still be included, how to live their truths and still be accepted, the world would be very different. So I don't know if this message is clearly getting across, but I hope it is. I had written down so many different things I did not even say, and I think everything is as it should be. So whatever was expressed was what needed to be expressed, and I'm grateful for those who are here listening. But again, this was all prompted based on the previous episode, the line of we're all selfish. So what's wrong with us all being selfish? Is there a way to find beneficial ways to be selfish? It's really detrimental when people are selfish and they're not aware. It's really detrimental when people are selfish and they have no consideration for others, and they're not able to hold space for multiple perspectives. That is when it can become tricky. And, as I've mentioned, trauma does blur the lines. Trauma does cross the wires, and we see things through our lens of trauma oftentimes. And so, is there anything wrong with being selfish? Yes and no, depending on who you ask. Yes and no, depending on what your beliefs and values are regarding that topic. So I will leave a couple of recommendations in the description below. One recommendation is a former episode I did titled, Is Self-Love Selfish? I believe is the topic title. Don't quote me on that. Just look it up. It might be something similar to that. I'm also going to leave in both consciousness episode. And I'm also going to leave the episodes incompatibility and trauma bonds. Both versions, stripped and unstripped trauma bonds. The stripped version is without any music if you prefer that. And unstripped is with music. I think I said that correctly. So, when we're not taught these things, we continue the cycle. When we're not aware of these things, we continue the cycle. So, to each their own. I support whatever choices anybody makes. It's about understanding the conditions we've been believed, the ways we've operated, and ways we might think of things. And maybe it's time to do a U-Haul on that. Maybe it's time to do an overhaul on these things that have been demonized, perhaps, in our own walks of life. So I'll be the first to tell you, I'm a very selfish person. You might not think that, but it is very true, because I selfishly want everyone to win. I truly do. I want everyone to end up exactly where they belong and to do exactly what they're here to do, because I know that when you're living your best life, it encourages other people to live their best life. When you live your best life, it helps me live my best life. When people are kind to each other, it helps everyone else raise the vibration of this planet. So I selfishly want everyone to get everything they deserve and everything they desire, and to know that the sky is the limit, that you can have anything you dream. And then I support everyone's walk, because I know that it's all everything. And love, I truly believe, is the greatest force. So I encourage that, and I selfishly want everyone to win, because I know that's going to promote better life for future generations. So I'm very selfish in that regard, that I want the best for everyone, truly. And so I started the last episode midway with Miguel, and I want to finish closing off this episode with a personalized audio recording I took at a Miguel concert back in the lovely year of 2015. So in 2015, I went to a music festival, and Miguel was one of the artists performing. And I took a audio recording. It's not the best quality. I will go ahead and let you know that. I was way in the nosebleed sections. I'm way in the back. So it's a lot of noise around me, but I'm still going to post it. I was thinking about not posting it because, my perfectionist was like, it's not perfect. It needs to be perfect. No, it doesn't. It just needs to be real. So that's what I'm going to leave you guys with. If you want to hear that, you will hear that here shortly. If not, be well, stay safe, take care of each other, take care of yourself. Know that it's all good, and I send you all much love, much blessings. Until next time.
Amongst the people around me, in my neighborhood, at the time in the 80s, blacks and Mexicans did not get along. And I found myself in the middle of a lot of bullshit, I had to fight my way out of a lot of bullshit, believe it or not. Lil Miguel can put him up, don't trip. I won some, I lost some, but that's how it goes, But more importantly, I can feel it. I can feel it even in school. You remember those tests in school, they ask you a very simple question, are you Caucasian? Are you African American? Are you, Pacific Islander? Are you, Hispanic, and so on and so forth. And I would work my way, from the right, down, until I finally got to the last box. At the end, you know what that box was? Fucking other. Ain't that a bitch? And I can remember every year, looking for some kind of answer, some kind of guidance in that test, in that question, to identify with. Because I felt I had no place. I would get around my black friends. I would get around my black friends and I would play up my black side, whatever that is. Get around my Latino friends and play up my Latino, whatever that is. And I could feel myself not being myself, And in some way, shape, or form, I believe, wherever you're from or where you grew up, we've all felt out of place in some way, And for so long, I can remember holding on to this baggage until more recently, asking this question: what the fuck is normal anyway? Why is it so important to me to feel normal? And then I realized a very simple thing, that normality is subjective. That meaning, every single person in the fucking world has a different idea of what normal is. Why waste my time trying to live up to someone else's perspective of the world? It's such a waste of time and a waste of energy. So I realized I should put my energy in what I believe is normal for myself. So I wrote this song. And I put it on this album called Wild Heart. And it's very much to celebrate the things that I felt that held me down or separated me from everyone. In retrospect, now I see it. It's the things that I celebrate that make me just like you. Different. You know what I'm saying? Too proper for the black kids, and too black for the Mexican. Too square to be a hood nigga. Well, what's normal anyway? Too opinionated for the pacifists, too upbeat to be on trend. Too broke for the rich kid. But shit, I don't know what normal is. What's normal anyway? What's normal anyway? I mean, what's normal anyway? What's normal anyway? What's normal anyway? I'm in the crowd and I feel alone. I look around and I feel alone. I never feel like I belong. I wanna feel like I belong. I'm too immoral for the Christians, but too moral for the cutthroat. Too RV for the atheists. I don't know what normal is. I'm too involved in my own life to spend time with my family. I'm too concerned about what others think. What's normal anyway? What's normal anyway? What's normal anyway? I mean, what's normal anyway? What's normal anyway? What's normal anyway? I'm in the crowd and I feel alone. I look around and I feel alone. I never feel like I belong. I wanna feel like I belong somewhere. Oh, sometimes I'm in the crowd and I feel alone. I look around and I feel alone. I never feel like I belong. I wanna feel like I belong. It took me so long to stop trying to find myself another now. Stop compromising what I see and what I believe now. Oh, stop focusing on me, yeah. And that's the way it is, man. If they can't, they'll change exactly who you are. But look here. Oh, don't let them change you. Just be who you are now. Oh, now don't let them change you. Please just be who you are now. Oh, now don't let them change you. Please just be who you are now. Oh, now don't let them change you. Please just be who you are. Hands up. And say, I promise myself to never succumb or conform to the so-called norm. I will be myself. I will believe in myself. Welcome, Wild Hearts. We are on our fucking way. Just be who you are, who you are.